Red flag, definitely a red flag. Crazy man, upset about his surgery, and he just goes right over and purchases, with no waiting, an AR-style assault weapon, and then goes and kills the doctor who performed his surgery in a violent, extremist fit of rage. And it continues in our country. The president yesterday with remarks regarding the Tulsa shooting, certainly the Uvalde shooting, as well as the Buffalo shooting, and really all the shootings. I'll have those comments by the President of the United States in just a moment.
They had one message for all of us. Do something. Just do something. For God's sake, do something. After Columbine, after Sandy Hook, after Charleston, after Orlando, after Las Vegas, after Parkland, nothing has been done. This time that can't be true. This time we must actually do something. For so many of you at home, I want to be very clear. This is not about taking away anyone's guns. It's not about vilifying gun owners. In fact, we believe we should be treating responsible gun owners as an example of how every gun owner should behave. I respect the culture and the tradition and the concerns of lawful gun owners. At the same time, the Second Amendment, like all other rights, is not absolute. Over the last 2 decades, more school-age children have died from guns than on-duty police officers and active-duty military combined. Think about that. More kids than on-duty cops killed by guns. More kids than soldiers killed by guns. For God's sake, how much more carnage are we willing to accept? How many more innocent American lives must be taken before we say enough, enough?
Strong speech there by President Biden. Now, Mike Barnicle of the Boston Globe and Eugene Robinson, they both agree the strongest speech he has yet given on this issue, because, as Mike Barnicle said, the president feels this, and we're seeing the real Joe Biden come forth when he says enough. I think they pointed out he said the word enough like about a dozen times, and also he said over and over, do something. Do something, American Congress. Send the legislation to the president's desk for his signature.
I've been walking through the fields and on the streets of town, trying to make sense of what you left me. Everything that I've been needing has been turned upside down.
so important to get these federal universal background checks done so that we do something to hopefully prevent these type of violent actions from happening again. And so I support expanded background checks. I support a return of a federal assault weapons ban in this nation, and I certainly support restrictions on large capacity magazines for deadly firearms. And I've been quite clear. Now, here in New York, the state of New York, Governor Hochul is doing something. She's going to sign the legislation today to restrict the sales of military-style hardware to those less than 21. That's right. So, in fact, that's true. I just heard it talked about by Rob Ray at the Heartbeat of the Tri-County, and that's the appropriate step to take. I fully support that state law as well. Now, tonight on the program, of course, Timothy B. Schmidt. It's an apartment karaoke tradition. Every Friday night, I join him in the singing of Friday Night from his solo career. Lately, I've been plugging his new album, Day by Day, and the great hit song on it, Simple Man. I could go to that one right now, but I'm not going to. In the background, Captain and Tennille, they're always welcome here on the program with Do That To Me One More Time, a huge hit from back in the 70s, the Captain and Tennille. Alphabetically, it comes up right after Do Something. Now, in my own world, my job as a cardiac sonographer here in town, it's Dr. C's birthday, you know. And N, lady that works in the front office, she said, are we going to do something? Because they started one of those little chat things via the, I guess it's the electronic medical record. I'm not going to tell you the model of it, you know, the brand of electronic medical record, what have you. And just to say, they started a chat, and I saw it pop up on my screen, several people talking, hey, it's Dr. C's birthday today. Happy birthday to Dr. C. Those of you that follow my show, you know that, we used to have Dr. O here, and Dr. O, folks, he's gone. He moved. He's practicing in Virginia. I'm not going to tell you which town. It's a fine town in the state of Virginia. And just to say, Dr. C, he's been here as a locum and doing a fantastic job. And, I know what we are going to do today. We're going to do something. That's right. We're going to see patients there in cardiology, the place where I work. We're going to do that. Maybe someone will bring in a box of donuts or a cake for Dr. C. And, again, a tip of my hat to him. And moving forward on the program, again, now I must say, if and only if I decided to create one of these, VEED videos of this thing that Do Something, it probably wouldn't make it through. So if you didn't hear a Do Something by the Eagles, it probably got censored by the YouTube machine, what they call something about content or something like that. I don't really know. But I'll be right back with a word in a moment. Now, this morning on Morning Joe, they had KDK reporting direct from London and the Queen's 70th Platinum Jubilee and all the events that are there. And I thought I'd make mention of the fact. I certainly did. And an amazing story. The Queen of England, 70 years, all the way back in the 50s, when she suddenly had to take over after the death of her father, King George VI. And it's an amazing story. They've been following it well over there at NBC. And so, yes, and I've been watching a little bit of it while I can. Now, there's some other information regarding that. Oh, yeah, she was talking, KDK. They also asked her about gun violence in England and how did they deal with it. Well, the thing of it was they dealt with it. According to KDK, the parliament over there, they passed a law back in the 80s when it happened over there. They had a gun violence thing, and they did it under a conservative government under the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher. That's right. They did it under what they consider conservative is not quite the same, however, as, some very far right-wing extremist groups in this country, dangerous militia groups that promise to take over the American government. And they're very dangerous with a lot of firearms in those militia groups. You guys know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name drop all of them. I know who they are. And the American people know who they are. And they're being watched very carefully by the FBI. Yeah, but they don't have these issues. And over here in this country, they showed the actual facts, in terms of the statistics. And it was like more than 10 times higher than the second country, not even close, the second most country of gun violence. And England, the lowest in the Western industrialized nations. Let's move towards that, I say, and make it safer for the American people moving forward. If they can do it over there, if they can do something over there, then we can certainly do something over here. That's how I feel about it. And in terms of something, what I normally do is a little transition to a fantastic love song by the Beatles that was on my second Love album, Forfeit. Obviously, it's the song Something, as penned by George Harrison for the album Abbey Road, if I'm not mistaken. All right, fantastic tune by the Beatles, in this case, coming from their album One. In order to be on that album One, you have to have been a #1 hit. Now, in case someone is watching a YouTube video and you didn't hear that, well, again, it might have been taken down. All the Beatles tunes, again, not only do they admonish you that you cannot monetize the video, which I never intended to do, but also that the Beatles, well, you just can't do that. Now, you can do other artists. For example, Billy Joel. The other day I did an All for Lena with Billy, and I was told that the people of Russia were banned from listening to it, All for Lena. But all the other 8 songs on that day's program went through with shining colors. And again, the Russian people, I feel sorry for them because they do not have the democracy that we do over here in the United States. And also, they're living under a dictatorship led by the dictator Vladimir Putin. They certainly are.
She stood on the tracks, waving her arms, leading me to that third rail shock. Quick as a wink, she changed her mind. She gave me a night, that's all it was. What will it take until I stop kidding myself, wasting my time? Whoa, there's nothing else I can do, 'cause I'm doing it all for Lena. I don't want anyone new, 'cause I'm living it all for Lena. There's nothing in it for you, 'cause I'm giving it all for Lena. We laid on the beach, watching the tide. She didn't tell me there were rocks under the waves, right off the shore. Washed up on the side, barely alive, wishing the undertow would stop. How can a man take any more? Whoa, there's nothing else I can do, 'cause I'm doing it all for Lena. I don't want anyone new, 'cause I'm living it all for Lena. There's nothing in it for you, 'cause I'm giving it all for Lena. I'm feeling a fool, losing my friends, making my family lose their minds. I don't wanna eat, I don't wanna sleep, I only want Lena one more time. Now I'm in my room, watching the tube, telling myself she still may drop over to say she's changed her mind. So I wait in the dark, listening for her, instead of my old man saying, stop kidding yourself, wasting your time. Whoa, there's nothing else I can do, 'cause I'm doing it all for Lena. Don't want anyone new, 'cause I'm living it all
I do that one again, dedicated to the Russian people. You're being lied to by Putin. You're being lied to by Putin. Listen to Arnold Schwarzenegger's video to the Russian people. I agree with everything Mr. Schwarzenegger said in his video to the Russian people. They're being lied to, and their media is blocked. Not only that great tune by Billy Joel, Orphalina, but really it's a state-run TV over there. I'm sure you guys are aware that Putin controls all the media over there, and they don't have democracy like we do over here. They don't. Spanish Harlem. We're joined by Sir Elton John with a signature song, key signature song here at Apartment Karaoke. We're going to do the Mona Lisas, that's right.
Now I know Spanish Harlem are not just pretty words to say. I thought I knew, but now I know that rose trees never grow in New York City. Until you've seen this trash can dream come true, you stand at the edge while people run you through. And I thank the Lord, there's people out there like you. I thank the Lord, there's people out there like you. While Mona Lisas and Mad Hatters, sons of bankers, sons of lawyers, turn around and say good morning to the night. For unless they see the sky, but they can't, and that is why. They know not if it's dark outside or light. This Broadway's got a lot of songs to sing. If I knew the tunes, I might join in. I go my way alone, roll my own seed shall be sown in New York City. Subway's no way for a good man to go down. Rich man can't ride, and the hobo he can drown. And I thank the Lord for the people I have found. I thank the Lord.
Hilton to get us going here in the morning. It's 7:30. The sky is clear, sunny, and there's not a cloud in the sky. And I'm at the Two Hearts Sunglasses Supermarket, named in honor of Phil Collins' song Two Hearts from the movie Buster. I'll be right back. You're listening to The Morning Show. Okay, I'm going to switch it over now to the heartbeat of the Tri-County. That's 101 FM WCDO. Let's see what they've got. Oh, it's the legendary Eddie Money, the late great Eddie Money, and Ronnie Spector with this great tune. Appreciate that. WCDO, fantastic, with that great hit by Eddie Money. You know, sometimes I finish up the morning show with that great hit. Like, let's say I'm at the Gulf gas station and I'm ready to go home. Then I say, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Money, and take me home, Eddie. And then I sing that entire thing. And then, of course, after that song not being long enough to get me home, that's when I welcome Phil with his great song from the album No Jacket Required with Take Me Home to get me the rest of the way there. It doesn't have to be Take Me Home, obviously. It could be any song of Phil's. And as I mentioned, yes, I am here at the Two Hearts Sunglasses Supermarket. It's got a story behind it, and I'm not going to tell you the real name. Folks, that's just a fake name I made up.
There's no reason to believe she'll always be there, but don't believe in what you believe in. It's getting nowhere, cause it helps you never love. Don't look down, just look up, cause she's always there to remind you, just to remind you. That's why I'm blinded. You never go. There's so much love you never know. She can't reach you no matter what. Wherever you are, two hearts living in just one mind, being together till the end of time. No, we're two hearts living in just one mind, together forever till the end of time. Oh, she knows that I will be especially someone. She knows. Yeah, she knows. No matter how far we are, she knows. I'm over this. We're two hearts, believing in just one mind, being together until the end of time. You know we're two hearts, believing in just one mind, together forever till the end of time. You know we're two hearts, believing in just one mind, just one mind. Two hearts, just one mind.
All right, Phil Collins from his album Hits with that great hit. I'll be right back in a moment. If you don't put faith into what you're believing, it's getting you nowhere, regardless of what it is that you have faith in. You know, perhaps it's your religion, your Lord. If you got to have faith, you got to have faith. You know, and of course, yeah, I think instantly of the George Michael song. I could bust into that one, absolutely. But in terms of everything else that you're doing, you got to believe in whatever it is you're doing. Now, Phil has this other song. I'm serious from his album Serious, but Seriously, where he says, if you're hanging long enough, you'll get it done. You'll get her done. That's right. If you're hanging long enough, that's what Phil says on that album, and other great tunes from that album. A serious album. Some people over there in England, they had a problem with Phil expressing his feelings about things like world hunger, like people without homes, without a place to sleep. And so they came after him back around, 1989 when the album was released. Check the facts. All you got to do is go into genius.com, type Another Day in Paradise, pick the song by Phil from the album, But Seriously, and then you'll have the side story about how they came after Phil regarding Another Day in Paradise. And they're still doing it to this very day. People going after Phil. I've had all the stories, Had the stories about, for example, the Alamo. Phil's Alamo collection is real. And, of course, I had the story about Orianne. Many of those, again, as far as I know, last time I heard, the guy that she married after she left Phil, she's already divorced him and moving on with this great hit by Phil from his album Hits once again. And then I'm going to my job. Yeah, I'm going to my job. Now, a lot of times people will ask me as I'm doing a scan of their heart, David, what do those colors represent? And I say, that indicates the flow of blood through your heart. It tells us the velocity and direction of blood flow, those colors.
Don't be discouraged, do I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it when the darkness inside you makes you feel so small. First, see your true colors shine through. See your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile. Don't be unhappy, 'cause you know This one makes you crazy, and you're taking all you can bear. Just call me up, 'cause you know I need it. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. Just show your true colors, a beautiful, like a rainbow. Take courage now, realize this one makes you crazy, and you're taking all you can bear. Just call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. Don't be afraid to let them show. Just show your true colors, true colors that shine through the sun. See your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid, stand and show your true colors, are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me your colors, show me your colors, show me your rainbow. Show me your colors, show me your rainbow. That's why I love you. Show me your colors, show me your rainbow. That's why I love you. Show me your colors.
That's why I love Phil. Phil, you're amazing. Phil Collins. Now, of course, recently it was Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin who blamed Phil for what he said was the ruination of Stairway to Heaven, July 13th, 1985 at Live Aid. Believe me when I tell you that there was no ruined Stairway to Heaven. I've listened to it on the program. I shared it with you. The drummer, Phil Collins, or Tony Thompson, neither of them to blame for nothing that ever went wrong at all. So I got to go to my job now. I'll pause this and continue later. You're listening to The Morning Show. Okay, it's 11:45. I'm on my lunch hour. And, of course, Dr. C's birthday. They got cupcakes. That's the thing. Now, I do know a couple of tunes that feature cupcakes in it. I could do one of those. Hold on. What are they saying?
CDO.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, just a pretty average Friday and at work. And, well, we don't have as many people there. Some people are gone. As I was told, golf. Yes, there was a golf event, some type of organized golf event. And I've been involved with those. Not here in New York, but certainly have in Colorado, Missouri. I clearly remember foundation golf event. I don't know that it's a foundation here, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And which foundation, which town, again, I'm not going to say. But yeah, speaking of those cupcakes, now I talked to Dr. C today, went into his office, wished him a happy birthday. And, I also talked to him about a clinical matter regarding echo policies, and what that exactly is, I'm not going to say clearly. But I'm thinking of the great song Simon and Garfunkel. It mentions a cupcake. You'll find out when I do this, Mrs. Robinson. Yes, I'm going to do it. Mrs. Robinson, as featured in The Graduate, the great film from, what was it, 68, 69? I don't know.
voucher for our files. We'd like to help you learn to help yourself. Look around you, all you see are sympathetic eyes. Stroll around the grounds until you feel at home. And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hiding in a hiding place where no one ever goes. Put it in your pantry with your cupcakes. It's a little secret, just the Robinsons affair. Most of all, you got to hide it from the kids. Cuckoo, Mrs. Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Sitting on a sofa on a Sunday afternoon, going to the candidates debate. Laugh about it, shout about it when you got to choose. Every way you look at it, you lose. Where have you gone? George Maggio, what nation turns its lonely eyes to you? Ooh, what's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Chosen Joe has left and gone away. Hey, hey,
All right, dusting off the vinyl the same way they do it over there at the Heartbeat of the Tri-County with their lunchtime program entitled Lunchtime with the Oldies. I'll be back with that in a moment. You're listening to The Morning Show. Yeah, sometimes after I do a Mrs. Robinson, I do a Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds. You know, the great tune, of course, written by Bob Dylan and covered expertly by the Byrds. But I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to do a little promo for tonight. Got a couple of, three great stories. I think 3 is the number. One of them is about the My Pillow guy and right-wing attorney L. Lynn Wood. I've had stories about both of them many, many times, both of them. And these two guys, they're both, huge MAGA guys, huge supporters of the former president. And both of them like to have, they have a lot of conspiracy tales between the two of them. Apparently, they do not see eye to eye on something. I don't have the first clue. I haven't read the story. I said, the My Pillow guy and Lynn Wood. You recall L. Lynn Wood? He's the guy that said on a previous story that I had that Pence should be shot, by firing squad because he thought that Pence basically should have been more supportive of Trump in terms of helping Trump overturn the 2020 election. And so he felt that was really tantamount to treason, Mr. Pence, you understand. Now, I do not agree with L. Lynn Wood on really hardly anything the man has said. Another wacky thing when he called the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, he called him a murderous pedophile in the story that he accused him both of being a murderer and a pedophile. And, of course, Chief Justice Roberts is an innocent man, and L. Lynn Wood is a wacky guy out there on the far right with a lot of strange things that he said. So I'll be more than happy to do it. Yesterday I had a great My Pillow guy story. I might actually do a rewind right now and listen to some of the recent stuff. It was Liz Cheney with some very strong words saying that he's a wacky guy. The same thing I've been saying on this show for many, many months about the MyPillow guy and his false predictions, his incorrect information, and now he and his attorneys are being held financially liable by a judge in the story I had yesterday. Now, I changed my mind. I'm not going to go back and replay it. I could do a replay, just replay that recording from yesterday, where, again, went through this whole thing and the history of the MyPillow guy, but it's kind of a big snoozer. Usually I use the tune Golden Slumbers by the Beatles. However, Phil Collins doing the cover of the thing, the entire thing. It's available out there on YouTube. Phil does a fantastic job. He was asked to come in and do a job, and Phil did the job. He was asked by Sir George Martin, famed late producer of the Beatles, to do a job, to come in and help out. And Phil ran right down to the studio, and he did it. The whole thing. The suite of songs from Abbey Road, Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, and the end. Absolutely. And I got another story that's sort of aligned with that thing about Linwood and the MyPillow guy, and that has to do with it's another right-winger down in the state of Pennsylvania. He's being questioned by the FBI after photos have emerged of him on January 6th. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, there have been over 800 people arrested for what they did on January 6th, the failed insurrection on the United States Capitol. Apparently, this guy was there, and he's running for governor in the state of Pennsylvania. And, yeah, they have a few questions for the man. Many other people, they've actually been booked. That's right, fingerprinted, taken in, charged. Some of them have received a fairly significant jail sentence. Other people just let off with a warning and just a slap on the wrist, and that's pretty much it. Now, another story. Trump, he cannot say where 12 former executive assistants are. However, New York Attorney General Letitia James needs this information, and it says here she's giving him till Friday. That's today. Does that mean today? They're giving him until today to find where they went to. No one can seem to locate these 12 former executive assistants who are no longer working for Trump. Anyway, he's under the pressure right now, Trump, to find those 12 individuals for the Attorney General, based upon the legal matter that she's working on. Absolutely. Now, for that, I mean, that could bust into a great song, based off of that whole thing. And so let me think what I can come up with on that. Now I can't I can't think of anything. Something about a dozen or 12 missing executive assistants. They need to be spoken to get their side of the story, and get it on the record. And of course, Lady A.
Picture perfect memories scattered all around the floor. Reaching for the phone 'cause I can't fight it anymore. And I wonder if I ever cross your mind. For me it happens all the time. It's a quarter after one, I'm all alone and I need you now. Said I wouldn't call but I lost all control and I need you now. And I don't know how I can do that. I just need you now. Another shot of whiskey, can't stop looking at the door. Wishing you come sweeping in the way you did before. And I wonder if I ever cross your mind. For me it happens all the time. It's a quarter after one, I'm a little drunk. It's 1:15. I'm all alone and I need you now. And I said I wouldn't call, but I'm a little drunk and I need you now. And I don't know how I can do without. I just need you now. I just need you now. Oh, baby, I need you
$12:02, yes, folks, 12:02, and yes, it's the 12:02 program alarm thing. Apollo 11, and you are there, July 20th, 1969. They got that 12:02 code message, and well, basically, no need to worry about it. You know, you can make that landing. Neil Armstrong, he did it. It's a fantastic story, and yes, I borrowed it from, I don't know. From the Earth to the Moon, Tom Hanks miniseries, and that particular episode that deals with Apollo 11. And now it's 12:03, and back to the heartbeat of the Tri-County with Lunchtime with the Oldies.
I'm Ed Donahue, AP.
Here's a look at WCDO News, brought to you by SFCU.
As I'm a little early. Yes, I have also recorded that. Them doing their news, as well as the AP news at the top of the hour. I'll be back in a few minutes.
And relax. Enjoy your journey back in time. It's Lunchtime with the Oldies on WCDO.
Easy Rider. I said, easy, but you have gone now. Oh, easy Rider. I can't see, baby, what you have done now. God, you made me love you. Now, you better come. Easy Rider. All right, Easy Rider. I want you to come along with me.
All right, that'll do. A little sampling of Lunchtime with the Oldies. I'll be right back. All right, now I'm going to do some jive talk, and I absolutely am. Last week, I had a story about Saturday Night Live, the greatest musical parody skits that they have done, and it had to do with the Bee Gees. It certainly did, but not with this song. It had to do with Nights on Broadway. Mike Myers and Barry Gibb, the talk show. I give them a tip of my hat, and then I do them. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Yeah, Nights on Broadway, absolutely. It's just a matter of how fast I can get it to play on this.
Vamos
sweet sounds to that crazy, crazy town, New York City. Great tune by the Bee Gees. Oh, I got to get back to my job. Folks, thank you very much for listening. I hope you join me for After Work for those stories that I mentioned earlier. Thank you. Okay, it's After Work, and it's Friday night. That's right. And I'm at the Two Heart Sunglasses supermarket. And just an announcement right off the bat. Peter Navarro has been arrested and taken into custody. And, well, I really didn't want to talk about it because I really have a full plate, but it just kind of popped up. And, yeah, former Trump aide Navarro, he of the Green Bay sweep, you know, that's where they pitch the ball to Pence, and Pence takes it into the end zone. Touchdown! And he gets 4 more years as vice president to Trump. Of course, Trump then would get 4 more years as president. An attempted coup d'etat in our country. That's right. The Green Bay sweep. He, the designer of it. And he's been taken into custody, not for that, but for failure to basically appear before the select committee investigating the failed insurrection, January the 6th. And Peter Navarro, you know, this is a wacky guy, basically planning a coup d'etat with, of course, his co-conspirators. And, yeah, they wanted to talk to him, and now he's out there saying, oh, there's prosecutorial misconduct, blah, blah, blah. Excuses. The guy's busted, clearly, for failing to appear as subpoenaed, you know, and that's really the law in this land. But that's really all. I'm not going to read the whole story about it. I certainly am not. No, I'm not. You know, in the background, you know, heartbeat of the Tri-County, the radio. Trump-backed gubernatorial candidate was questioned by the FBI after photos emerged of him being there, Washington, D.C., January 6th, at the failed insurrection. And who is this guy? Well, you will find out tonight when I talk about him. Yeah, it's the guy running down in Pennsylvania. Absolutely. On this story, it's a great story. I'm very happy to do it tonight. This whole thing, again, this is the big one tonight. This is the one tonight. I mean, this has got to be the one. If there is a one, you know, for a really good story on the show, you know, radical right-winger L. Linwood and the MyPillow guy Mike Lindell, they are clashing. You know, they're clashing. There's some kind of rift in their very strange time space that they're in out there on the far right. You know, what they're calling MAGAverse. You know. That's fine, whatever. But basically, it's going to be very interesting, I feel. Absolutely. And so, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe should I sing something or should I read a story? This is almost... But, you know, the thing of it is, and this is very important to remember, I've already used up a lot of time on this recording. I'm trying to make the things, you know, shorter than they have been in the past. And look at this, I'm 1 hour and 7 minutes plus. This is unbelievable. You know, this is like, and I got all these stories. You know, guess what? It'll probably just be like a 2-parter or something like that. It's Friday night. And of course, Timothy B. Schmidt will be along, you know, with Friday night. And I am going to do time travel. I am. Time travel to an earlier Friday night. It's just a matter of which one of those. There's been, well, I guess, you know, quite a lot. Might be 100, 200 maybe, something like that. Maybe more. Absolutely. But the thing of it is, which date am I going to go back to? So, I'll be right back, and I'm just going to go MyPillow guy versus, you know, Godzilla. You know, that's the one. And L. Linwood. And in a moment. Wake up, America. Wake up, America. That's right. There's strange people out there like Linwood and Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy. I'm looking at a picture of them side by side right now from BusinessInsider.com. And the guy on the left, that one's Lin Wood. The guy with the shades, with the kind of smirk on his face. Yeah, that's Lin Wood. The guy on the right with the mustache, that's the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell. Yes, Mike Lindell, whose pillows are no longer available in any retail outlet out there. Any respectable one, they've all taken them away. Kohl's, Bed Bath & Beyond. That's right. And more. And absolutely. And, of course, the guy that said Trump would be back in power in August of last year. Then he said, oh, no. When it didn't pan out, his lawsuit never came to fruition. He said it would be the fall and then on into the next year. And you probably figured out Trump's has not been reinstalled into power. He has not. And, of course, that's just one of his fantasies, among many others that he has. The MyPillow guy, again, I've done dozens of stories on him. And this guy on the left, I've done a few on him. Enough to know he's a very dangerous individual. He's a guy who's gone after the Chief Justice of the United States and suggested falsely that he had something to do with the death of Justice Antonin Scalia, who died of natural causes. Yeah, he did that. And then he also went after the guy, he calls him like a murderous pedophile. And yeah, I had that story. Lin Wood, he's that guy, as far as I can recall. So this one's written by Cheryl Tay. And there's some dot points there, but I'm just going to skip all that and read the entire story. A series of Telegram posts by Lin Wood, a pro-Trump lawyer, appears to indicate that the MAGAverse may be fracturing from within. On Wednesday, Wood laid into Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow, and John Sabal. Is it Sable or Sabal? I'm just going to call him whatever. I mean, it says here he's a QAnon influencer known as QAnon John. How about if I just call him crazy? Again, I'm a totally anti-QAnon. Again, there is no QAnon. It's a fake guy. There's no such person. Anonymous guy. No, there is no QAnon. It's made up stuff. Definitely is. The only real Q is definitely from Star Trek, portrayed by John Delancey, now appearing on Picard, I believe. Yeah, John Delancey. That's the only real Q. And this other guy, not really real. A lot of fake stories, a lot of fantasy tales. So, and this guy, he has a Telegram channel. I don't know, that's a wacky thing. It says QAnon is a baseless conspiracy theory that claims, among other things, that former President Trump is fighting a cabal of satanic pedophiles. They claim that's an extraordinary claim, Now, as the late, great Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I don't see any evidence of any of these fantasy tales that are being wound out there. Now, Lindell, Wood, and Sabal have aligned themselves with a contingent of politicians and public figures who believe the disproven claim that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump, a false claim made by Trump and tested in 60-plus, court cases, battleground states all across this fine land. Trump, the loser of all of those. Now, in a Telegram post, Wood suggested that a MAGA movement was being compromised by, quote, deep state operatives, end quote, disguised as, he says they're disguised as patriots who are actually communist infiltrators. That sounds like, something Lin Wood would say. He says a lot of strange things, and, he accuses other people of things that he has no evidence for. Of course, he was thrown out of his law society down there. I think it's in Georgia he was thrown out of. Check the facts on that. You'll find out this guy definitely was thrown out for the things that he has said, the things that he has put out there time and time again. Lin Wood, absolutely. He's the guy responsible for what he said in the past. Now it says, quoting the guy I'm talking about, Lin Wood, L. Lynn Wood says, Mike Lindell, patriot or traitor? You decide. Do the research, connect the dots, draw your own conclusions. I have drawn mine. I know this. God does not lie, and God never overpromises and underdelivers, L. Lynn Wood said. In other words, he's pissed that what, the My Pillow guy was predicting failed to come true, on multiple occasions. Because that really upsets this guy, L. Lynn Wood, because he's an extremist on the far right, and he was hoping and praying that Trump would be, reinstalled on Mike Lindell's plan to begin with. So yeah, of course. Now he then shared so this is just like basically a love spat between Lindell and L. Lynn Wood. Is that basically, they're going to get back together. Anyway, it says here, he then shared a lengthy message from one of his followers, which posited that the My Pillow guy could be associated with Antifa. Again, is this one of those things that he just spouts out there with no proof, which he always does? Lynn Wood, does he have proof that Lindell is associated with Antifa? That would be an interesting side story. I'm not counting on that being ever shown. Now, the post shared by L. Lynn Wood also claimed, without substantiation, that Lindell once offered a 66.6% discount on his pillows, implying that the pillow salesman had links to Satanism. The number 666 is sometimes used in popular culture to refer to the mark of the beast, a satanic symbol. Now, I don't know anything about that. That sounds like a bunch of nonsense. But Mike Lindell, his pillows, just in my opinion, my show, overpriced, And, of course, the reason why he's not available at, again, big box retailers like Kohl's, Bed Bath & Beyond, etc., is because of, they said his pillows were underperforming. It was not, because the My Pillow guy disparaged those companies and said that they were losers and liars and that those companies were fearful, but rather the fact that his pillows are underperforming, and sales-wise, not how well they work at night when you put your head on them and you start sleeping, right? No, it's not that. Underperforming from a sales perspective, and they decided to discontinue his line. So they're certainly within their rights to do so. Now, are we still on this fight about the 666 thing? No, this guy is L. Lynn Wood character. Now, I find myself in a really kind of strange position of having to stand up and defend the My Pillow guy when, as I said, I've had dozens of stories on him and all the strange things that he does. But I'm just going to keep reading this thing. Some of Lynn Wood's followers also chimed in, criticizing the My Pillow guy. There's a quote here from one of these posts. I ordered a pillow from him a while ago, and that's the first thing I thought when I saw his enclosed 66% off coupon inside of the package. Out of all the available numbers he could have used, and he chose 66%, read a post by one of Wood's followers. Anyway, maybe the guy just wanted to offer like 2/3 off or something. I don't know. Maybe he should have made it, 66.7% off or something like that. I don't know. It's just a very strange thing. Anyway, it says here that Lynn Wood also attacked the other guy, Sabal, the so-called QAnon guy. Oh yeah, QAnon John. That's right. QAnon John. Woods attacked him, telling his followers to watch out for him, saying, I have had my eyes on old QAnon John from the very beginning. He thought he was playing me. I was playing him to expose him as a fake patriot. Wood wrote. This guy's such a clown in my view, L. Lynn Wood. Now, the Trump allied lawyer also appeared to Sabal to confess and repent. I pray for you, John. I don't want anyone to spend eternity in hell, Ellen Wood wrote. Now, Wood's posts also mention other conservative figures like former Attorney General Bill Barr and Trump-era Special Counsel John Durham. Wood asked his followers to consider whether they were patriots or traitors. Of course, the Durham guy suffered a huge defeat the other day, and Mr. Michael Sussman not guilty of all trumped-up charges by Mr. Durham, the Trump-supporting guy. Back into the story now. Sabal hit back at Wood, sarcastically quipping that he was feeling the love from the lawyer. I get to be placed with Mike Lindell, too, another one of the greatest patriots this country has ever seen, on top of Bill Barr and John Durham, he said in a message to Wood, who later reposted it. I gotta say, I am beyond words, Lynn. In December, L. Lynn Wood went after Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, another extremist on the right from Georgia. You guys know all about Marjorie Taylor Greene. If I started talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the things that she has done and everything else like that, there's been so many of those stories anyway. Basically now he's going after her as well. Boy, they had this little rift between all these right-wingers. This is fantastic, you know. And anyway, he called her a pawn of the devil and representative of the deep state. Again, this is a fake thing, the whole thing, deep state. There's a lot of people out there wanting to stir up fear in our nation, wanting to divide instead of to unite. And L. Lynn Wood, one of those. And so, too, the lady he's going after. Now, I find myself in the uncomfortable position of defending Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, but this is just one of those wacky things. It's like this guy's spouting off at everyone. L. Lynn Wood, as I mentioned before, was the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, accusing him of being a murderous pedophile, going after Pence. That's right, going after Pence, saying that he wanted him shot by firing squad, you know, as a traitor. And this guy, L. Lynn Wood, is someone who should really take a good look at him, because he's a dangerous individual. And he would be a guy that I definitely would not want to see have a military style, you know, AR weapon. Absolutely. Now, L. Lynn Wood was also one of the right-wing figures who laid into Senator Ted Cruz in January, calling him stupid for suggesting that the January 6, 2021 failed insurrection was a violent attack. Well, clearly it was a violent attack. The failed insurrection clearly was, and I could go into a long story about that. Now, Lindell and Wood did not immediately respond for requests for comments. What a great story written by Cheryl Tay for BusinessInsider.com. And absolutely, Phil. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, it's a beautiful evening. It's 70 degrees upstate New York, 6:35 p.m., and now I'm doing a time travel to May the 27th, you know. It was a Friday night, and, well, I had arrived, you know, on Long Island, and this is like the epilogue to the show. I think it includes a Friday night. Or if it doesn't, well, then I'll just have to do that after I do this, because I'm going to do this first. I definitely am, because I'm just interested to find out what it was. I'm not really sure. I'll find out. Here we go. Time travel. Continuing with the morning show for May the 27th, 2022. And, well, it's only a couple of minutes left to Friday, yeah. So, yeah, basically, I'm here, you know. Faye was here. Something suddenly came up, and Faye is no longer here, but there's 2 minutes until midnight, and she asked me, you know, before she leaves, said, you're going to do a Friday night? I said, yeah. She said, you only got like 15 minutes left. I said, no, that's fine, It's fine. As long as I haven't gone to bed yet, it's still Friday to me, regardless. And so, yeah, once again, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Timothy B. Schmidt, Apartment Karaoke Tradition. Okay, now myself, absolutely. June 3rd, and I'm going to join in with those two guys from May the 27th. I'm going to double track it.
Hold on, let's end this conversation. We need to take a break, and I don't want to fight. I've had a minor revelation. Let's deal with it later, 'cause it's Friday night. All week we've been working so hard, and now it's time to kick back and set our sights. We can make it pretty simple, put it on the back burner. It's a Friday night. Feel that warm breeze floating through the window. Sure do like it this way. Something tells me this is the way to go. I've got a few things to say. Slip into your best dress, paint your lips red. Open up your blue eyes, forget the things we said. I could be your lover, you can shine the light. Let's fire up the candle, it's a Friday night. Let's go look for hidden treasure. I wanna dig it up while the moon is bright. No more living under pressure. Gotta see your eyes sparkle. It's a Friday night. Roll that big world right off your shoulders. I will try to do the same. If we don't act now, we'll simply grow older. Another faded picture in a frame. Button up your blue jeans, tumble down your hair. Take a look around, we can do it anywhere. You can be my princess, I'll be what you like. Let's run around the house, it's a Friday night. Woo! Feel that warm breeze floating through the window. Sure do like it this way. Something tells me this is the way to go. I've got a few words to say. Slip into your best dress, paint your lips red. Open up your blue eyes, forget the things we said. I could be your lover, you can shine the light. Let's burn another candle, it's a Friday night.
Okay, Timothy B. Schmidt. Don't forget Timothy's new album, Day by Day, and the hit new single, Simple Man.
Absolutely. Switching now to, once again, WBAB 102.3, Long Island's only classic rock. Just as a reminder, you're listening to a rewind from May the 27th. Yeah, last Friday night.
WBAB, Long Island's only classic rock.
this little extra coverage anyway. Thank you very much, because, I'm tired and, I'm beat. And so thank you very much for listening to the morning show this week, and I hope you join me again next week on the program. Bye-bye now. Now, you know that I could just, fade right off of that. But once again, thank you, David Williams of the past, for that on that rewind section. Now, I'll come back with a concluding song in just a moment. You're listening to the morning show. Okay, so we haven't had Jackson Browne on the program in a while. It's just a matter of which of his great tunes that I'm going to borrow here for, just this thing. And then basically it's going to be I just want to say this. The ending to this program is just going to be like the outro of the song, and then that's it, absolutely. And then I'm going to take it into Audacity and I'm going to do a super studio fade out on it, and just kind of optimize it a little bit. And I'm just saying that I'm just going to borrow this one and see how it goes. Oh, while I have you for a moment, again, if you like today's program, please remember to like. And if you want to follow my programs, don't forget to click subscribe.
In the morning, when I close my eyes, you were sleeping in paradise. While the room was growing light, I was holding still with all my might. Oh, what if it's true? What my heart says. Oh, what'll I do? What if this feeling becomes hard to part with? You were meant to play your part in the design of a desperate heart. While you gave your love to me, I was betting I was getting you free. Oh, if I'd only known what your heart cost. Oh, can we call it a loan and a debt that I owe on a bet that I lost? Looking back at you, no disguise. I'm not sure who you think you'll see. I'm just hoping you'll still know that it's me. Oh, what if it's true? Better ask than answer. Oh, there seem to be two. One steals a love and the other one hides. Yeah, can we call it alone till I'm paid in full for the seeds I've sown? Yeah, can we say that I've grown in some way that we may have yet to be shown? Oh, if I'd only known what your heart cost. Oh, can we call it a loan and a debt that I owe, or a bet that I lost?